So before we now go into this practical part of the pranayama, let's understand first what is prana and what is pranayama. So pranayama is consisted of the word prana and yama. Prana is our energetical life force, it's chi. It's the energy, but it also means breath, because prana is contained in our breath, and our breath is the most direct way in which we can experience and expand prana within ourselves. Yama, on the other hand, means control or expansion. So we're using breath control to expand our energy. The way we channel prana through our body is through energy channels called nadis. We have apparently about 72,000 of them. Don't ask me why. There are 72,000. Apparently some ancient rishis have experienced those in deep states of absorption, of meditation, of samadhi, and so I don't know if they counted them or they've just been aware of them, but we're just going to accept that there are 72,000. And in TCM, in traditional Chinese medicine, they're equivalent to the meridians. So they're flowing all over our body and outside of our body. We have three main nadis. We have the Sushumna nadi, which flows through the center of our base of the spine all the way up, which is the broadest energy channel, which we're trying to open so that energy can flow most freely through our chakras and really turn the lotus petals of the chakras upwards, because chakras are often depicted as lotus petals turned downwards, and with pranayama we can turn them upwards so the energy flows upwards and allows us to really experience the free-flowing energy of prana. Then we have Ida and Pingala nadi. These are two nadis that are woven like a snake around Sushumna and are connected to our left and right nostril, and also roughly connect to the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So it's the lunar and the solar side, the solar being connected to the sympathetic, the active side, and the lunar to the more passive side, to the parasympathetic branch of our nervous system. So in pranayama, we have three main parts of how we can breathe. So understanding what these parts are makes it a lot easier to understand the different techniques of pranayama and understand why we do certain ways. So we can breathe in three ways. We can inhale, we can exhale, and we can hold the breath. Inhalation is puraka, rechaka is exhalation, and kumbhaka is the retention of the breath. And the retention can also be done in several different ways, more specifically in three different ways. We have Baya Kumbhaka after a complete exhalation, and we have Antara Kumbhaka after a complete inhalation, so holding the air inside. And finally, we have Kevala Kumbhaka, which is not a complete retention of the breath, but a state of very shallow rhythmic breathing that comes as a result of pranayama. And in this state, we experience a very calm and still state of our mind, because when we experience breath retention, we will feel that our mind automatically becomes more silent. Thoughts will decrease, will disappear. And so this is why the retention part is really important for our pranayama, that we try to make the retention time longer and longer as a main goal of pranayama, and then ultimately experience this Kevala Kumbhaka. We have a few main pranayamas. In the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, they're referred to as the Mahakumbhakas, and there are 8 different breathing techniques. And the one they're already focused on, the first part, is Ujjayi. Now we're going to focus on 3 other parts that are not part of the Mahakumbhakas, but they're also very essential pranayamas that are used as a primary pranayama exercise to then introduce the more difficult ones, or the more advanced ones. And those are, first of all, Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. So we alternately breathe in through the nostrils, which works on the Ida and Pingala nadi, and therefore in the end opens Sushumna nadi. And then we have Kapalabhati. We already have heard about this. This is the Kriya, the cleaning, the cleansing exercise, but at the same time also a pranayama. So this is what we're going to focus on in this step now, more specifically in the practical part. And finally, we have Omkar. Omkar is the chanting of the mantra Om, and this is pranayama combined with a mantra and chanting. So we use our voice to create this energetical frequency and use the exhalation to completely exhale all the air out of our lungs, which is a really important step for pranayama, because pranayama can only start after a complete exhalation. So we need to train ourselves to completely exhale, get everything, the apana is the stale air, and prana is the fresh energy. So exhale all this apana, and then to be able to receive prana. This is going to be, or these exercises are going to be the main focus of this second step of the course. But before we start with the actual practical part, a few words on when and how to practice pranayama. Pranayama should preferably be practiced in the morning and on an empty stomach, especially when we do pranayama that focus more like Kapalabhati on rapid inhalation and exhalation and movement of the abdomen. When the stomach and the digestive system still have some food inside of it, it's going to disrupt the digestive part, and it's also not going to be able to really have the energy to allow prana to flow through our body. And we're also always trying to breathe along Sushumna Nadi, so the main energy channel that flows along our spine, and we try to visualize this by breathing in from the base of our spine up towards our third eye or towards the crown chakra, and in the same way down. We can also do it in a circular movement, so breathing up the back of the spine, along the back to the third eye, and then back again, or to the front, back down. This is up to you, personal preferences, but we're trying to breathe along the chakras, along the Sushumna Nadi. And we show the energy which way it needs to go by putting the tongue at the roof of our mouth. So up to the heart palate. So the energy knows that it needs to flow upwards. It's an arrow sign for the energy that it knows it needs to go up. And also, what's important is to have the proper posture for pranayama and meditation, especially because we sometimes sit for longer periods. We need to have a comfortable posture. So stiram sukham asanam, a steady, comfortable, easeful posture. And in this next part, we're going to look into different postures and find out which posture you can take that is right for you. So enjoy the practical part now.